Well, folks, to quote the poet, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Or maybe not. We'll have to see. Before we get into the meat of today's video, of course, if you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. So Wizards of the Coast has a new president over there. Of course, Cynthia Williams stepped down in April, and they've now finally announced her successor. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This comes to us from Geekwire. Of course, I'll link to this and another article in the comments down below, so you can check those out. So the new president at Wizards of the Coast is longtime World of Warcraft leader John Haidt. And this comes to us from Taylor Soper. Let's have a quick look at this. John Haidt, a longtime exec at Blizzard's Entertainment, who led the Microsoft-owned gaming giant's World of Warcraft arm, has joined Hasbro's subsidiary Wizards of the Coast as its new president. Haidt announced last month that he was leaving Blizzard, where he'd spent more than 12 years, first as an executive producer and vice president for World of Warcraft, and later as general manager of the Warcraft franchise. A little tough to get out there, sorry. Haidt will also oversee Hasbro's digital gaming business, which made up to 42% of the toy and gaming giant's revenue in the first quarter. So the digital gaming business there that they're talking about, I would dare say the bulk of that probably came from Monopoly Go. Not anything D&D related. That was a huge banger for Hasbro. But let's go on. Former Wizard CEO Cynthia Williams stepped down in April. Williams was named CEO at toymaker Funko in May. Haidt will relocate from California and be based in the Seattle region, according to a spokesperson. Renton, Washington-based Wizards of the Coast is known for its flagship games Dungeons & Dragons, which of course it acquired when it bought TSR back in the 90s, and Magic the Gathering. Hasbro also announced Thursday that it hired former Bungie leader Holly Barbacovi, and I apologize, Ms. Barbacovi, if I mispronounce that, as Chief People Officer. I guess that's what we're calling human resources these days. People Officer. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments below, which is creepier, People Officer or Human Resources. I don't know. People Officer is a little... She was previously Vice President of Human Resources. There it is. For Wizards from 2016 to 2020, and was most recently Chief Operating Officer and Chief People Officer at Bungie. She also spent 16 years at Microsoft. So that's just kind of the 10,000-foot view, but there's a little bit more in the next article we're going to check out here. And again, I will I'll link to this down below. So let's have a gander. A little scroll down there. World of Warcraft GM John Haidt joins Hasbro's as president of Wizards of the Coast. Haidt spent 12 years at Blizzards, but will now lead a strategy on Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering. And this is from Chris Kerr over at Game Developer. Dungeons & Dragons owner Hasbro has tapped former World of Warcraft general manager and SVP John Haidt to lead Wizards of the Coast as a company president. Haidt spent 12 years at Blizzard, overseeing all development and commercial activities on key titles like World of Warcraft Hearthstone and Warcraft Rumble. He also steered developments of the console version of Diablo 3 and multiple expansions for World of Warcraft. Hasbro described Haidt as, quote, an industry titan, and explained he will oversee the company's network of gaming studios and digital, digital licensing agreement. He will also lead strategy on key franchises, including Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons, the latter of which is back in vogue thanks to the meteoric success of Baldur's Gate 3. Is that it really, though? I think there's a lot more factors than that, but, you know. That's just my opinion. Chris Cox, managing director at Hasbro, praised Haidt's ability to foster communities. He is a true embodiment of our mission to bring people together through play, he added in a press release. John's love of D&D and Magic the Gathering, combined with his leadership in video games, will be crucial as we expand our digital offerings to deliver what our fans crave. What we crave is a good tabletop RPG, Chris. Joining Haidt at Hasbro is former Bungie COO Holly Barbakovi, who returns as Chief People Officer. Oh, there's that phrase again. Barbakovi previously served as VP of Human Resources at Wizards of the Coast from 2016 to 2020 and is back to lead Hasbro's global HR organization. And that kind of dovetails nicely into the next part of this article. Both appointments come after Hasbro announced plans to make over 1,100 layoffs through 2024 and beyond. The company announced the cuts in December 2023 and explained they would take place over 18 to 24 months. Of course, we know the axe fell fairly swiftly for some people, but we've talked about that in other videos. Cox described those redundancies as a, quote, last resort that would ensure Hasbro remains, quote, healthy. While we're confident in the future of Hasbro, he said at the time, the current environment demands that we do more. I know this news is especially difficult during the holiday season. Of course, Mike Merles was laid off and he was let go almost immediately. No 18 to 24 month cushion for him. Shortly after announcing those cuts, Hasbro revealed it had earned $90 million from Baldur's Gate 3. Larian's acclaimed RPG swept the award circuit and evidently sold more than a handful of copies. Boy, you can say that again. That was a big hit, as it were. So then that, of course, brings up the question, Quo Vadis, Wizards of the Coast, where are you going? Now, Cynthia Williams herself had worked for Microsoft. John Haidt, according to these two articles, is elbow deep in computer games. And should we start tearing our hair out now? I don't think so. I don't think it's time to panic. Folks, as I've said before, there have been computer-related D&D things almost as long as there has been D&D. I have shown pictures on this very live stream of a homemade analog computer designed for figuring out attack rolls for tabletop war games. It was in an amplifier case, and it was just all switches and resistors. Dragon Magazine, as early as 1977, 78, was putting type-in programs for all sorts of utilities for dungeon masters. Computers have been a part of D&D almost since the beginning. I don't think this is anything to panic over. TSR wanted D&D computer games. Gary wanted D&D computer games. Wizards of the Coast is honestly, they're seem to be just kind of streamlining the process. Now, what I don't want, and I don't think any of us want to see, is D&D just become another phone app. It seems like Wizards of the Coast can never get on solid ground when it comes to some kind of a virtual tabletop. And I, for one, don't want a pay-to-win type thing to come along and replace good old-fashioned tabletop D&D, because regardless of what you play, 6th edition, 5th edition, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, any of the flavors of basic or original, the game needs to be a tactile experience between friends, not just something you play on your phone and can throw down a credit card so that you can win D&D. So we certainly hope that John Haidt won't be bringing that to the table. No pun intended. And of course, the question arises, hey, Bill, you focus on the old school here. What's the old school spin on this? And the truth is, right now, I don't know. But that's actually a good thing, because there have been no immediate comments about, we're going to leverage those old properties. So we're bringing them in, and, old people who enjoy old D&D can just play the new D&D, and that'll be that. So at least from that standpoint, we haven't been fired as customers yet. And at least at the time of this video, we haven't seen the print on demand and PDFs of classic D&D get taken down off of Drive-Thru or D&D Classics. I'm sorry, DM's Guild. But let's knock on wood and hope that at the very least, nothing changes in either direction. But of course, as always, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is going to make a major sea change? Do you think we're going to see more computerization of D&D and less support for the pen and paper? Do you think it's going to stay about the same? Do you think they're finally going to get their virtual tabletop off the ground? Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys, and we'll just see the situation through how it develops, of course. Again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, tell me what you liked about it. I'll do more of it. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down and leave a comment below and tell me what you didn't like about it, and I'll do less of that. But until then, everybody, keep your eyes on pen, paper, dice, and rule books, and we'll see what the computer game world does on their own. All right? Until next time, dudes. Peace.